Moving on to season 7 of this show, and this was another changing point to the show because like with the prior seasons, it starts out with a very clear division between the less talented chefs and the more talented chefs, but for the first time, there's too many less talented chefs to truly point the fingers at because there were tons of chefs here that had multiple bad services, but they never end up being nominated because either they're on the winning team too many times or there's so many people that they could nominate that they get a free pass, you know? So that was kind of odd, and then there were also less of the more talented people in my eyes, because out of that group that made the Black Jackets, really there were only two of them there that were talented. Another one was talented, but then kept shooting himself in the foot, and then another one that seemed fine, but at the same time wasn't getting much camera time. You know what I mean? So there was definitely a different vibe going on there. And then also, for the first time, the teams here were crazy imbalanced. Now, that's not to say that one team was gradually able to perform better than the other, because that happened during the first two seasons and in various moments in following seasons, but like the red team this season, oh my god, like they never truly beat the blue team at any service, because either the blue team beat them, both teams were declared losers, or both teams were declared winners. It's just like, how can it be? And they only won 3 challenges, one because they were 10 seconds quicker, and another one because the judge really did have a thing against Jay's dish for some reason, so really it's one win. What the heck happened to those people? It's crazy. Now that doesn't mean it wasn't fun to watch, but you could definitely tell that something had shifted, and then like with a lot of people out there, I think that Ramsey made the wrong final 2 choice. But let me make it clear to you. I don't mean that was a bad choice of words. I mean that he picked the wrong winner. The final 2, yeah, they should have been the final 2 based on those Black Jackets, but yeah, he made the wrong winner choice, and I don't even really remember why that was the case, you know? But then again, it has been 7 years since I watched this. It's not bad, but it has more problems than the last 3 seasons. And then you get to this season where just... what the hell happened here? Just like, this season, even the more talented people, most of them were jerks, you know? Like, Nona has some snappish moments. Russell is, you know, a huge jerk. And then Trev, despite his screwing up a lot, keeps surviving and surviving. Sabrina keeps bitching. And then Julian didn't really get that much camera time. Yeah, just like, how is it that you were able to get reasonable quality of contestants and then you come up with this batch, which sucked. Although, let me tell you, there are several moments that even though you're face planting, you can laugh, okay? That's the good thing about this season. You can laugh about some of it, but just... whew. It's definitely harder to get through than most of the others, and in terms of contestant quality, I do agree that it's worse than Season 2, because Season 2 did have some competency that you could get behind. Here, not really. Because this is definitely one of the least liked winners in the show's history, yeah. But it does have, you know, some enjoyable moments, and you kind of do have to watch it, given how they bring back a couple of these people, well, mention them in later seasons, so you do kind of have to... Oh, I forgot. How did I feel about Andy joining the cast last season? She didn't do too much in her first season, but after that, it did seem like they started finding someone that could actually interact with the contestants to the same level as Scott, so that was nice. But replacing Jean-Philippe with that James character, just... that guy added nothing, really. He was just there. Like, they couldn't even make gimmicks like they did with Jean-Philippe. Just... yeah, I did not like that guy at all. Okay. Season 9. Nice, but unfortunately, I don't think too much stood out from it other than the last 3 people, because, like, the competency of this cast was definitely better, but I think increasing it from, what was it, 18 to 20, that was overkill, and I never really understood why they started having more than 16 people on this show, because, like, 12 felt like too small after the first 2 seasons, so bumping it up to 14 at first, then 16, full agreement with that. But beyond that, it started getting a little overkill, because with 20 people, it's definitely harder to keep track of some of these people, because, like, if you put the gun to my head, I can name some of the first boots from these seasons, even though it's been forever since I watched them. This season, I can't do that. You have to go several rounds in before I can name someone that's eliminated. Mine is the first person, but that's because he came back. Right. But the dynamic and rivalries between these people, that was a lot more fun to see, minus the fact that the third place finisher, Elsie, she just, oh man, how on earth did she get that far into the competition, especially without being nominated? Because I looked up when she was nominated, she got quite a ways before she was. Let me tell you, just, it was crazy. And you think for just a moment there that she'd be able to get into the top 2. It was crazy. But then, thankfully, Ramsey pulls double elimination and gets rid of the slack. And, oh yeah, and, starting to go from Final 4 to Final 2, I never understood why Ramsey did that, because you had a higher number of people in the show before, one by one. I don't totally get why he did that. I wish I had an explanation. Now, this is again a situation where a lot of people feel like Ramsey made the wrong decision, and part of me agrees with it, part of me doesn't, because unlike Season 7, I felt like the difference between these two was minuscule. It was really the fact that Paul had been nominated and Will hadn't. But I do think that upon thinking back, Paul did better that night doing the service, so... he pretty much had to judge it just based on that one time, yeah. So I've gone back and forward to the point where I'm just like, forget it. He made his decision. Right. Season 10, part of me wants to say that this season is good and part of me doesn't, because we did get some talented people in here, but the effort that we have to do to get there, really is annoying, because there were tons of contestants on here. Clemenza, Brian, Barbie, arrogant moments from Dana, who was that, somewhat overweight chick, Kimberly, something like that. Just, they kept having issues over and over again, but it took forever to get rid of them. There was the fact that there was one challenge where neither team was declared the winner by Ramsey, and then there's the fact that you start having those two-parter episodes, which part of me liked, part of me didn't, because I'd gotten used to, just one episode, one chef goes, one episode, one chef goes, but at the same time, seeing this added stuff, it was interesting, but I guess the fact that they did this on a season where I had less faith in the cast, Yeah, that did kind of get to me, but I don't deny that there was talent in the last three people that Ramsey did, and like the winner of this season, Christina, like I honestly do not think I had ever wanted someone to win as much as I wanted her to win, especially since for the three prior seasons before this, the eventual runner-up was the first person to get into the name to be in the finals by Ramsey, and they also won the last challenge. So I was like, oh god, please tell me she wins, please tell me she wins. And even though it seems like a majority of the people think that, what's his face, Jeff or Jonathan, it's one of those two, a decent amount of people seem to think that he had a better service in the top two. Yeah, thank God she won, really. And like, even though Jeff or Jonathan was nominated once, it's one of those times that you honestly should not count the nomination, because even though he was technically nominated by Ramsey, you knew he wasn't going anywhere. Whereas like Paul, when he was nominated, there was doubt. There was. Season 11. Again, this season was a tough one to slug through, but that's because this season, like with Season 8, has all kinds of bad people, and unlike Season 8, it was a lot harder to laugh at it. And even the more talented chefs, you could detect that there was some kind of problem going on with them, because like whoever the third to last chef eliminated in the blue team was, that was actually the first time that he was nominated, even though he'd been struggling before then. Zach, he'd struggled a decent amount of times before he was eliminated. John just blew up when it was his time to lead the pass, but it goes to show that just because you can cook does not mean that you're a good leader. And then the winner of the season, Janelle, like, even though I pegged her as a final 2 from, like, the final 7, and wanted her to win, because I'm like, yeah, this is clearly the better chef, there was just something in the back of my mind that told me something's odd here, something's odd. And sure enough, based on what happened afterward, poof, yeah. So, like, yeah, real tough one to get through. Like, even bringing Jean-Philippe back couldn't, save this, yeah. Now I know what you're thinking, though. Why do you have it? Because, after I watched the first 2 seasons, I started buying these blind. Season 12, and thankfully, this started getting the show back on track, despite the fact that they continued with the double pod episodes and having 20 people. Oh yeah, and then replacing Scott with this sous chef named James. It was nice to see him interact with the contestants, but it was disappointing that he wasn't as angry towards them. I'd gotten used to that, so it was a bummer to lose Scott there, but I'm sure that he had his reasons, yeah. But like this season, even though there were bad people, and this winner is kind of odd in that, you know, he got the most nominations out of any winner, I'm pretty sure, in the show's history, you had more faith in these people, and I was totally surprised that a couple of the people that made it to the top 4 were those people, but I nonetheless found myself nodding, going, hey, you must have done something to get you this far, so good on you. And yeah, I can't name that many wow moments, but this helped get the show back on track, and it's a nice season. Don't totally agree with the winner, but I really need to rewatch it, because I'd written Scott off several episodes before the end, and then he ended up winning. Yeah, this really merits a rewatch at some point. Gonna need to make another part. See ya.